Okay, guys, I started the recording. Welcome, everybody. Not many people joined in today, but hopefully whoever's not here will listen to the recording. Does anybody want to start? No, I actually have a question. If maybe one of you guys know how to answer or can guide me into where I can find the answer to. We're currently struggling with one of our projects with adding new cell styles to the UI builder. Not really struggling, actually. We're pursuing the documentation at the moment, but we're not sure how this should be done.
Cell style or family?
Cell style family.
Family.
Yes.
It's in code.
Yeah, Javier is not here, and obviously I understand that Latam is the only team who actually implemented it.
If I'm not mistaken, it should be done like with code, adding classes and so on. Like
there is classes.
Yeah, we've seen the documentation in the app for adding new cell style family, but there is some code involved, and we just need to be able to estimate how much time it would take. Does anybody know how much time it took when the Latam team did it? Not really, but working on it a few months. Maybe
the problem is like you can add all the classes, but in order to sync with the UI builder interface, I guess you need the. I had this issue. Remember when I got the project of channel 23?
Okay.
I managed to add like a new family within the code, but in order for it to show in the UI builder interface, I needed RAM.
Okay, yeah.
But now maybe things change because I asked about it, and then Yoni.
I think it's still, and it's good. It still depends on the Zap team, but it should depend on the Zap team. I'm just wondering what should be the problem there. So yeah, there are some steps that need to be done. Obviously, there's some code to be added, and there's configuration to be added, and the Zap phase that needs to accommodate the new cell style family and to display it properly in the UI. There is some design that needs to be done, obviously, for the previews in Zap and the cell styles themselves, of course.
Yeah.
So there is work that needs to be done, but we just needed to know how much time it would normally take, not the dependencies in the Zap team or others, but just doing the coding stuff. And just to understand if there were any complexities other than what's written in the documentation where it just says what needs to be done. That's all. Javier is not here, so okay, we'll have to dig that from Javier directly, I guess. But again, this is knowledge that we need to have more widely in the Adroint community that we have, so that
yes,
more and more people can do it and to pass all the barriers that we currently are facing, if there are any. Okay.
Are you adding any components or only cells?
No, we just need to add cell styles for the time being, because we cannot settle for the existing ones. We want to do some other stuff. Okay, so I guess I'll have to continue with my research. Who wants to go next?
I can. Okay.
Yeah, Darek.
So
Please go ahead.
Recently, I've been working on the Reshet application. I managed to add some features to the SDK. I guess I'm working on two features. One of them is I added a flag that can be added to the JSON, like to the component's metadata, which allows to set if a component is clickable or not, which can be useful if you have like a list of one item and you don't want this item to be clickable, so you can now flag it and set to like that it's not clickable, and it should work. Hopefully.
So the component itself is not clickable?
Yeah.
But why would you need?
No, like for now for Reshet, we have a component which is a list of one item.
It's like a header, like show page with an image on top.
But why is it a list? Isn't it part of the?
It can be it's a list with one item.
because Android cannot parse, for the SDK, you cannot parse an entry. You need a feed of one item, right? You cannot have an image view because image view cannot parse atom feeds. So you need to have a list of one item to achieve that you have.
You need a component that can parse atom feeds?
Yeah.
That's what you mean? Okay.
In order to make that unclickable, because we needed that, so I had to add a flag in the JS. But of course, this is not the default behavior is like to have it clickable. Only if you need it to have to make it unclickable, you can add that flag.
Okay.
Also, we are working on refactoring the component headers, because also we are adding a behavior from atom feeds where you can set in the extension a URL for like when you click a header to have a different behavior than the default, like to give the header a specific URL to go to URL scheme when clicked. Okay, so in order to have that, I had to do refactoring. I am doing now a refactoring to the headers for all components, like the composite, the list, the grid, and so on.
Just make sure you are not affecting the behavior in the UI Builder apps. Because in the UI Builder apps, you can define the screen type in the data source.
The default will open the screen, like as is now.
No, yeah, I will not. I will only override if and only if in the extensions there is a specific key, which is like
Header action.
header action. If not, then I revert to default behavior, or I will not change anything.
Extension.
Yeah.
No.
No.
On the feed.
Feed.
Atom feed with extension.
Yeah, and that's it.
What is the need for it? What is the business need or the?
They wanted to open, give headers to in the homepage, like for each section.
Yeah.
But when you click on it, they wanted to go to
Channel.
show page, let's call it, for this, like a news show page.
Like more? Like
It's
adding
not more because I don't want the data of the components in the.
So it's a header that is navigatable.
For the show of the news or something like this.
Yeah, but the implementation is that you can have any URL scheme.
So basically, you're adding the support for it only when using atom feeds, not when using a data source provider, for example.
Data source provider, yeah. You can add the data source providers is give us the feed.
Oh, okay.
Like not from BCS and CMS, only from.
It's not from Applica. Yeah, if you want from Applicaster data source.
Yes.
So you need to add it to the data source provider somehow. Like if it's from the UI builder, we talk with Chira about it.
Okay.
If they will want to add to the UI builder some fields that set the action of the header, so it will be like in the same place.
Okay.
They will need to add it to the UI builder, like a field that define the action.
But actually, this is a requirement that might be useful for us in one of our future projects as well, or not future. It's a project that we're working on now. It's Run Sports, and they requested something similar. They requested a more from the headers. So once you click on it, you're directed.
Right now you have more that open the data source. Like
but more. It says more in the title, but it actually means what you're doing.
Okay,
it's directing to another
have
screen.
And where it's from data source, like external data source. So in the data source, you will need to add this extension.
Okay, that's interesting. Good to know.
We added the documentation.
Yeah.
Cool.
In the Zap pipe book, tech.
Zap Tech book of Zap pipes.
Okay.
Right?
Something like that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
We have another feature that we are working on for Hot to add a search API from the data source. It will be components, full screen components like a screen picker that will have the edit. This is Javier.
No, this is not the
I muted you, Javier.
are
Sorry. Welcome aboard, but I muted you. So there.
Thank you so much, guys. And yeah, so the thing is that am I interrupting anything or not?
No, I just muted because there was a background noise, so I muted.
Okay, cool. Okay, thanks. Yeah, the thing is that the other Javier is also in parental, so I might just start working. And anyway, I'll mute myself and just listen to me well. So
Okay, thank you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you.
So we are creating a search component that will have a search bar and compose it with the results.
Mm-hmm.
That will work with the data source. The data source will have to implement this API, like fetch, data, search. We need to define it with run. And eventually it will return a feed with entries like the data source itself.
So you're searching directly on the data source.
Yeah. So it will be a full screen components like screen picker. Instead of the tabs, it will have the search bar, and it will be opened by your present layout.
Okay, cool.
It can be opened by any
It's
UI builder, no?
We are not working with the UI.
You are not adding it to UI builder?
It will be added to the UI builder as well. But, it will be a screen. It will be actually two screens. One for pre-search with history result. And one is
it will be opened with present layout, regular URL scheme?
Yeah.
Not special URL scheme?
No.
Oh, okay. So it will be easy to integrate with the UI builder later?
Just present layout with
data source.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What was next?
Okay. So besides the new family or cells that we will add for our project Nova, we will also add a flag to bottom tab bar. Did you say it?
No.
Okay, so basically one of my tasks is also to add a flag to the plugin, to the bottom bar plugin, which is one of our roots to whoever
configuration.
to the configuration of the plugin. We will add another checkbox of whether to show the logo in all screens or the regular behavior that we have today in the bottom tab bar, which is always title, no logo. Okay, this is the implementation right now.
Logo in the nav bar, I mean.
Yeah. So currently the implementation is title only, no logo at all at the nav bar. We will add a flag to do the opposite, show always logo, no title. It's kind of a temporary solution that was agreed by Shira and Gil. Because basically the Zap team has in their backlog a task to enable from the UI builder to decide in specific screen if you want logo or not. Okay, so until that will happen, which will be about 2 months in the future, specifically in the bottom tab bar, the title looks very bad. So we will enable to show the logo only and without the title.
Eliminate the title and show the logo.
Yeah, for all screens.
So basically, this will be available for templates that use bottom bar as well, not just UI Builder apps.
Yeah,
Yes.
in the plugin.
It's in the plugin.
But yeah, I mean, for template, we already have a different solution. Usually what we do in
the
order...
properties.
No, usually what we do is, I hate it, but usually what we do, I mean, currently we have 3 apps, Bellator and 2 of our apps, Bellator, Quizy, and Push4, and
23 now.
also with Tabar? Okay, so all the apps with Tabar, as far as I have seen, are with logo only, with no title. Okay, the way it is done on iOS, you have in the JSON that defines the screens, you have a flag. So for all screens, it defines to show the logo. The way it is being done on Android is by overriding at the template level the Tabar layout, the Tabar XML, and just don't put the title there. Just, I don't know, put it gone or whatever, I don't know. Just don't put the title there, only put the logo. Okay, so this is the current ability to show logo only for a template. Okay. So you don't really need it for a template, you can use it, but you don't really need it because usually for template, we are just overriding.
Some apps, they do want the title in the inner screens and they can have like in the PG or...
Also with my solution, they will not be able to get it.
But they will get a logo?
That's what I told you. That is the effect of the current solution. Current solution on iOS, when you do it in the JSON, so basically all the white label apps, all the white label screens are showing title, plus all the internal screens are showing title as well. This is the iOS. And on Android, it is also always showing the logo. Always, in any screen. Internal, not internal, whatever. This is the way that it was implemented until today, and this is the way it will be implemented with the flag. At least until the UI builder will allow to customize it per screen. About non-UI builder apps, migrate UI builder. Enjoy my pain.
Deprecated.
Yeah, so you can use this flag, or you can use the regular method of putting the logo, whatever you want. So this is me.
Okay, so I've been working on a bunch of Brazilian stuff, and something that is related to all of Android is that I've been working on adding support for HTTP or HTTPS deep linking to the SDK.
Deep linking like Firebase?
No.
Not
like
Firebase.
Click on a URL and open specific activity.
Yeah, but not a URL scheme. Click on an HTTP or HTTPS URL and open an internal page within the app.
Regular HTTP, like not URL scheme.
Yes.
The mapping of the URL.
Each one will have to create its own plugin.
It's Google deep linking or it's...
Yeah,
What do you
it's
mean?
Android deep linking.
What do you mean Google deep linking?
Like if I search in Google and I click on one of the HTTPS,
Any, yeah.
they will need the OS, the Android.
You will need in Zap to provide the host that is attached to your app, and then it will know to open the app.
Guys, are you familiar with the idea of deep linking? We do currently deep linking using URL scheme.
Mapping is in the plugin between the URL and the URL scheme.
It's in an 8 plugin, yes.
Let's just, maybe before we dive into the implementation, maybe let's just talk about the feature in general. We're talking about HTTP deep linking, meaning any HTTP can be attached to an app, and the app will open an internal page from the HTTP link. Just like we do with URL scheme, which is the obvious way to do it, but you can also attach an HTTP link doing the exact same thing, using the data and the scheme with of the intent filters, just like we do in URL scheme.
The app, and if not, it will open the web.
Exactly. If there is an app that knows how to handle this type of schemes, okay? So deep linking in itself is not something complicated, but to understand. But there is also an additional feature that was added in Android Marshmallow 6.0. It is called uplinks, which is currently what will happen if you click on a HTTP link that is recognizable by the app is that it will open a dialog that will show you the option to choose either open it with Chrome that also handles HTTP links, and if your app is introduced to HTTP links.
So can I just I don't know, Google.com just catch it? For example?
That's if you
I can catch any URL that I want.
for
Facebook.com.
No.
I can catch the URL.
No, basically you can, without the need to attach any type of URL specifically, you can say that your app supports opening HTTP links. And then you will be shown next to Chrome as one of the possibilities to open this URL. If you implemented a browser, if you created a browser app, you would say that your browser knows how to open HTTP. And then it would display to the user the option to open your browser.
It's not specific.
But the feature of app links is attaching a specific URL to an app so that you don't even display the option. But you're asking, wait, why don't I take over the Facebook.com domain and say that I want my app to open Facebook.com? Because obviously there is a configuration on the app, on the URL side, on the server side that needs to be done to introduce the app to the URL.
In the web?
Yes. The web introduces itself to the app.
Okay, so it's going through the...
Yeah, there is a signing mechanism, and there is a whole JSON that needs to be configured on the site so that it is recognizable by the app. And once this is done, devices
so
on...
it's like open the web and then
it will not open the web.
redirect you to the app?
It will do a background call, and if it gets the right response from the server, from the domain, it will open your app directly.
Does it make on iOS?
It is called universal links. It's the same
on iOS
idea.
universal links, but in addition of opening the app, universal links are also searchable. When you search in the OS, you can look for for a specific show. For example, Game of Thrones, and then it will give you the option. It will show you all the apps that knows to search this value or something like that, and then you can press it, and then it launches the universal link.
So this is a bit,
Android.
I think we're just talking about the ability to open an app directly from an HTTP URL in devices
Because
from
there is
Android
also
6.0.
for, Google, there is what's the name? I don't remember.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No, not app URL.
App indexing.
I don't know the
They
name.
have
That
this
you
option.
can click on it, and if you don't have the app, it's like public page. That it's redirect you to the store, and then deep linking you to the app if you don't have the app, or directly deep linking you to the app. You have it.
The show.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with this one.
I know that Kareti looks for it, and then he implemented his own public page. I don't know.
Okay. You can show it to me later, because I'm not sure that I'm familiar with what you described now.
It's something from Firebase.
Okay. No, I'm not familiar with this one. So anyway, we're talking about the two features, the HTTP deep linking, and in addition, the app links, which is a feature that was added in Android 6.0. So devices that run Android 6.0 will open your app directly. And so you need to instruct the customer to define the host in their website, do some configuration so that the app can recognize itself and open directly when the link is clicked. So we're now adding the support for it.
They're able to check if you have the app or not. No, it's a server script.
No, but
How
if you
do
don't
they
have,
know if you have the app or not?
if you don't have the app, it will open in the browser.
Yeah,
There will
not
be no intent. The intent filter will not. No intent filter will recognize it other than the browser. So the browser.
So
will
it
open.
will tie the intent filter automatically. It will tie the app automatically, and then if it fails, it will open in browser. This is how it works.
When you click on a link, it asks
Just without the dialogue.
which apps know how
Okay.
to open it. Yeah, it will not show the dialog if the app is recognizable by the website. That's the idea of app links. So now we're adding support to it. And Merav, you started to mention that there is a configuration in Zap, obviously, so that we can define all the hosts that should be supported by the app. So it's a
the configuration.
No.
it's a configuration that will be added to the app itself. The app will say in Zap, these are the hosts that will support app links.
It's the same place
Or
where you
deep
define the
HTTP.
URL schemes. And it is, so it is same for Android and iOS.
Why it's not in the
Because it's in the app.
Which one?
But it's
Oh, wait.
no, it's not.
plugin?
No, you have app or version. It is added to the version or to the app.
to the app.
So
As
to
I
the app,
said,
it's same for iOS and Android.
itself is in the SDK.
So maybe I'm wrong. It's for the
Yeah,
version. I think it's separate.
זה באפ או בוורז'ן? זה
Uh,
אותו דבר ל-iOS
Why
ואנדרואיד?
isn't it in the
Okay,
plugin?
so same for what platform? No?
Why isn't it in the plugin?
Sure,
Like the
okay.
configuration.
It's like your scheme. It's
Exactly.
a different way to open the app.
But if you don't have the plugin of mapping the, I don't know, there is some plugin.
mapping of what?
The
Oh.
URL, you need to map it with the URL scheme.
Exactly.
It's plugin.
Yes.
Okay.
For
So
you.
why not to
For
For
define
me and
But
for
there is a
anyone.
default one, no? There is
different
no
for what?
default.
Yeah, for
Well,
applicants
that's
If
to
it
web.
requires the
Okay,
plugin,
no.
we can define the link in the plugin. This is what our
It's plugin anyway. It should be plugin for specific web.
But she is using plugin that uses Possible API, no? So it's a custom plugin. You cannot use our plugin.
Right.
Yeah.
But why not to add the configuration there? Like the URL.
No, because what we need is also in the manifest to create for each app, for the app, create a manifest that will override or extend the intro activity and add intent filters there. So I can't,
I changed
The configuration in Zap basically goes
it
directly
changed
into
the
the
app,
code.
manifest.
Yes.
But also from the plugin you can change. Same way. If you have a plugin,
Yeah.
you can change the. It's in the when you build the.
It can be done by scripting. I did it
Yeah.
already with the React, for example. When you have a React plugin, so it runs npm install. For other plugins, it won't run it. But
Anyway, so we're diving
with you.
too deeply into the
currently, no,
implementation.
currently on iOS, it's in the app configuration, so we have to have it.
There is an app
Same
configuration
place.
for iOS, and we're adding it now for Android as well. Or if it's the same place, so we're just
I
using.
think it should be in the plugin.
Sorry, it's third version. It's not.
We can take it offline later if you want. But just for you to know that this is a feature that we're currently working on, and obviously it will come from other customers as well, because it makes a lot of sense to make the connection between a
we have some
website.
customers that want it.
Okay, so just for you to know that we're working on it, and we'll obviously document it once we close all the gaps. That's it for deep linking and uplinks.
Yeah, I have another thing that I had a fix in the URL scheme from React pages that didn't work on some devices. After I checked it, the problem was that it was app context and not activity context.
I told you there is a problem with it.
No, not for the player. URL scheme. Like if you want to open URL scheme to, I don't know, a generic page.
So
So
maybe
I had-
that was the scenario that wasn't working for me.
So I added a flag start to the intent if it's not an activity. Open a new task, something, I don't remember the name, that you must add to the intent, the flag that you must add to the intent if it's not coming from an activity. So just if something won't work for you from URL scheme in one of the React, maybe I missed one of the scenarios there.
Basically, we are not using your scheme with React right now. But
So if you have any problem with URL scheme from React, check the context if it's activity or not.
because back then when I wrote it and I told you something is not working, but I don't remember what, so I tested the URL scheme for React. So maybe that was the thing that wasn't working, but I didn't.
You already was playing. We wanted to play, right? From the live page.
The live page is URL scheme. But
No, but they wanted to
No, if I
fire
want from
a React Native
maybe
page.
to open other page,
with your
With
scheme.
URL
I
scheme.
think we tried it, and we said that we don't support playing from Electric. Never mind. We'll take it later. Okay, who wants to go next?
Maybe we can ask now Javier.
No, it's a different Javier.
Yeah.
Together, no?
Yeah?
הוא אמר ככה.
Javier, do you know to create new family in UI Builder?
Wait.
No, I haven't. It's literally my first day, so I haven't actually looked at anything.
It's not, yeah, obviously.
So,
we thought that the other Javier was with you. Sorry.
no. The thing is that he's on a parental because he just had a kid this weekend. So this week I think he won't be here, and so I think he will return next week instead.
Okay.
But let's see how it goes.
Okay, got it. So again, welcome aboard. How is it going for you? You're orienting now, or?
Yeah, so supposedly I should have like a training session with him this week, but he's not here, so I'll do it with Ran. But Ran, he had to do something this in the morning, so I'm in the meantime setting up my environment with the SAP Android, installing early Ruby gems and everything that has to do, and try to actually set up my my workstation for be able to start building and be able to actually get something out of the door already, so to be able to get things going on. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you encounter any issues, shout in the Android channel and we'll try to assist as much
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys.
All right, cool. Gil, do you have any updates?
Can you hear me?
How's
No,
it going with
not
the
so
SDK?
much.
I said that there is no bugs on the SDK.
Okay, so what I did this week was actually fixing some bugs on the SDK. It was mainly everything I did. Yeah, the last SDK that was released allows, for some reason, didn't have any bugs. It's really weird. I think that the tests are not good enough. So I think that if you develop a feature, you should talk with Asaf directly and ask him to test it, like not like a general test that maybe will activate this feature and it will be revealed. So this is one thing that I can share with you this week. But besides that, all I did was bug fixing. So no news from my side.
Okay, so we have a stable SDK version. It's good news.
Until we will prove otherwise.
Yeah, as far as we know to
This
date.
is soon we.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Hani, you're next in line. How's it going?
Hi. So nothing on my side this week.
No news? What project are you currently working on?
Now fixing something with the Innoflare and moving on to other tasks. So,
Did you release the app to the store?
not yet.
Not only the service actually.
I can see you. I don't know
Yeah, so my
Yes, from the camera?
why. No, never mind.
Friday.
So yeah, that's me.
All right. Elad?
You beautiful giant, where are you?
הוא לא מצחיק. It's not funny. It's joke not funny. I don't know why you kid. I don't understand. It's not funny. It's not pretty. It's not nothing. All right. Anyhow, the last day that I will come back to work, I update first of all the mix panel to the latest version. And the most important part of this update is that there is app tracking, auto tracking the app session. And the second point that I create is on the generic, I create pull request. Asaf, can you explain it a bit? I need to move a moment.
What?
Guy, can you explain the pull request that I created in the generic comments?
Yes. So Elad suggested, I reviewed the pull request, so I know what he did. He suggested that we add another section to the pull request. Maybe I can show it. Show the pull request, and everybody will see it. Oh, I need to share my screen though. Okay. Anyway, it was just adding 2 lines to the PR section where you describe what your pull request includes, saying how it should be tested, and what apps the developer who is reviewing or the developer who wrote the code tested on. What is the recommended app to test it on?
Good idea, because this prevents Asaf from like asking us, should this be reviewed and should this?
Yeah, the question is, Asaf reviews pull requests. He sees pull requests. Will it help us?
Go over the pull request and check what.
Okay, so the QA section, it can be meant for Asaf.
Yeah, it's in the generic, no?
It's in the.
Anyway, it should be entered to the generic.
Yeah, but when you update the reference to the Applicaster SDK,
so you add there.
Sometimes they are grouped to one update of Applicaster SDK that contains a lot of new stuff. But it's good. It's better than anything.
Yeah, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, let's see. Just if I can show you the pull
So
request.
it was added to the template of the pull request.
Yes, it's being added. I asked Elad to review something in the way it is described there, so it will be clearer to the person who writes it what needs to be done. So basically, just describe how it should be tested or how you tested it. Basically, it's the same. And what apps are the best apps to test it on, where the feature can be tested. So that's basically it. Elad, anything else to add other than this pull request and the mix panel? Okay, I'll take it as a no. Adanas, last but not least.
Hello.
Hey.
Don't worry, I'm okay. I'm okay to be the last.
That's not to be the least.
You have 15 minutes, Adanas. Shoot.
Sometimes it's okay to be the least, but like things change.
No, you're not last. You're last but not least. Let's go.
Okay. I'm fine to be the least as well. Okay, so I've been working on a feature, login, register, and forgotten password, and everything is standard feature. The only thing that I'm doing differently is that I'm using RoboHydra for mocking the endpoints. So the endpoints are in active development as well, and I'm getting their specifications from Apiary, and then I'm creating these mock endpoints locally, and I'm making the app point to them, and I can develop in this way. It's very useful, at least to me, and we are using it together with Pablo, and it's helping us. So that's pretty much. RoboHydra, yeah, it lives on the top of Node.js, and you are creating a head, and the head points to. So like it is working on localhost 3000. Yeah, this is the default. And then, for example, if you change your base URL in your app, and then you redirect ADB to use localhost, then you can use the app, and then when you are trying to access this endpoint, it will actually access RoboHydra, and you can return either the payload or you can return an error code. You can set up your scenarios,
Okay,
And
but it's not for testing, it's for development, yeah?
so yes, it is just for mocking, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm using it for development because if you're implementing both the back end and the front end at the same time, then it is sometimes difficult to understand whether something is a bug in your code or a bug in the API. And like basically it's not a very pleasant experience. So if you have the spec, you're implementing against the mock endpoints, and then you just replace that, and if you're lucky, it will work. It is also very powerful in combination with UI testing, just like Appium, for example, or Calabash. Yeah, I've been using it. I'm happy, and like we are using it internally here.
Okay, cool.
Well.
Nice.
That's me pretty much.
All right. Anything else, guys?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does anyone start doing code design, code review, like before developing? Like what would you talk on
High-level design?
High-level designs?
High-level design and stuff?
We do it internally. Sometimes we take a task and we analyze what needs to be done, what steps are going to be. But I think what Udi meant in the Developers Tech Talk was to create a formal way of having design reviews. And I don't think anybody has done that so far. Meaning when you start working on a feature and you think how you're going to go about it, create a short session with some other developers from other teams. Sometimes it's difficult to get the time to do it, but that's the idea, to get some more opinions on what you're about to do and see the influences before you actually do them. So far we've done it only internally, but it should be done.
I was doing it with Gil, for example, with Numbug, but I don't know, it wasn't something formal. I mean, I just knew that.
Yeah, the question if there is some, I don't know, template or something that
of how you need to create it.
It said something, but
okay. It really depends on the complexity. If it's just a feature of changing something in one of the layouts, for example, then the high-level design will be very short, and it can be a one-liner of saying, I'm going to do this and this, what do you think? But if it's something more complex...
Yeah, we need a demo, an example, so we can look at, so we can like, create our own to maybe not to be first.
I think it really depends on the matter. I don't think we can create really a template. Sometimes you need flowcharts and you need use case diagrams and whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just
one.
Yeah.
Okay. So the answer is no. I don't think anybody has done it so far, but we should start doing it. At least obviously for the more complex, but also for the simpler ones. All right. If nothing else to add, guys, I think we can wrap up. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
רגע, בוא נדבר 5 דקות על